to be cooking one of my favorite takeout meals, which is beef and broccoli, and it can easily be replicated in the kitchen with a few simple ingredients. So all of the ingredients and all of the measurements are going to be listed in the description box as well as mentioned throughout the video. If you end up liking this video, I would really appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. All three if you're feeling generous. And all comments and questions, go ahead and comment down below and I will surely get back to you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, starting from left to right, ingredients first and seasoning and spices second. So ingredients, we have broccoli, some cornstarch, honey, garlic, ginger, sesame oil, half an onion. We have some soy sauce, oyster sauce, and then some beef. Of course, I'm using beef chuck, but you can use any type of beef of your preference. Seasoning and spices from left to right, we have some white pepper, we have some onion powder, some black pepper, we have some ground ginger, some lemon pepper, and then we have some Sazón. All right, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to take half of your onion. I already washed and peeled it, and you're going to slice along the onion. I'm not going to dice these because I like my vegetables in large chunks. So I'm going to go ahead and slice down and then cut in the middle. Right, then we're going to save this for later. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and slice up your beef. My chucks came into 4 pieces, so it's making it easier for me to cut. I also washed my meat off camera as well as the broccoli too. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this into some diagonal slices. Just to add some pizzazz instead of cutting into dices. I'm going to leave the fat on because I like fatty meats. So once you go ahead and cut all these up, you are going to season. So I'm going to warn you, I do not measure my seasoning. So when in doubt, go ahead and put a half teaspoon of everything. But I always say season to your liking. Right, so now that everything's sliced up, I'm going to transfer this to a bowl so I can go ahead and season. So I'm going to sprinkle like a little bit of each. Like I said, when in doubt, use a teaspoon of each. This is the Sazón, ground pepper, white pepper. So I like to put a large emphasis on the black and white pepper. This is not coming out. This is not as much as you think, it's just not coming out that much. Some lemon pepper, not as much as the black pepper. Some ground ginger. Once again, not as much as the black pepper. I like to go hard with the garlic powder because I love garlic. Probably put in a whole teaspoon of this and a whole teaspoon of onion powder as well. Lastly, you're going to add a teaspoon of cornstarch. This is going to add a little crisp to your beef when you go ahead and fry it. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this all thoroughly. And now let's go ahead and move on. All right, so now it's time to make the sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and get 1 tablespoon of garlic. Put that in. Going to use about half a cup of soy sauce. I'm using reduced soy sauce. All right, about half a cup. I'm gonna go ahead and use half a tablespoon of oyster sauce. I'm going to use a full tablespoon of sesame oil. A half tablespoon of honey. And then we're gonna go ahead and do a teaspoon of ginger puree. Oop, that was perfect. All right. After this, we are going to whisk this all up. And this will be our sauce. So we're just gonna whisk everything together. And this is going to be our sauce. So, like I said before, we were going to need some water. So I went ahead and put a 1/3 cup of water and about another teaspoon of cornstarch. We are going to mix this together, and this is going to help thicken our sauce later. So this little mixture is going to help thicken that sauce later when we go ahead and cook the broccoli and the beef. Right? Alright, so what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and preheated my saucepan for my beef, and I went ahead and put some water, about a 1/3 cup of water, into my pot because we're going to steam the broccoli in here. So let's go ahead and put the broccoli in here. And we're going to go ahead and let that steam. Make sure that broccoli is on medium heat. We do not want it to overcook. But as we're cooking the beef, the broccoli is going to be cooking. So what I forgot to go ahead and tell you guys is to go ahead and get some vegetable oil. So you're going to use about a tablespoon or a capful of vegetable oil on your medium-high saucepan. So we're going to let this heat up a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and add a teaspoon of garlic. All right, let's go ahead and add our teaspoon of garlic. Saute that for a little bit. Then we are going to add our beef. So go ahead and add your beef. Try to make sure that they aren't clumped together, so make sure they're a little spread apart. You're gonna want them to go ahead and brown on both sides. Once they're brown on both sides, check and see if there's any pink left. You want to make sure that there's no pink left. Alright, so I went ahead and steamed my broccoli and then I drained it. The beef is still cooking and still browning. As you can see, it's brown on one side. I'm waiting for it to brown on the other side. So I went ahead and drained my broccoli. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of onion powder to taste. Not too much because you already seasoned the beef, and then you already seasoned the sauce. So the sauce already has some seasoning. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix this through. The reason why I'm seasoning the broccoli is because I want, once you bite into that broccoli, you still get that same amount of flavor once you bite into the broccoli. So the broccoli is done and almost ready to be put into our beef. So the beef should be browned on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and add my onion and let this cook for about 30 seconds to a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and stir that onion in with the cooked beef. And we're gonna let this sit for about 30 seconds to a minute. All right, so now that we've let this onion sit for a bit, we are going to go ahead and add our sauce. I forgot to tell you guys to add a teaspoon of the brown sugar. Sorry, this is my first video, so please don't hate me. So you're gonna go ahead and add that sauce and stir that in. So once we stir that in, we're going to go ahead and take that little flurry that we made, and I'm going to go ahead and pour half of it and then stir. So I'm going to bring this to a slight boil, and then once it starts boiling, I'm going to add a little bit more of the flurry, and then I'm going to eventually add the broccoli. So we got this to a boil. Like I said, going to add a little bit more of the flurry. Stir that in. So that flurry is going to go ahead and thicken this sauce. So I'm going to let it boil up a little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and add our broccoli. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add our broccoli. And we are going to stir that in. And that's just about it. We are done. Alright, so here is the final product. You can eat your beef and broccoli with either white rice, brown rice, jasmine rice, or couscous, any grain of your liking. Today I'm eating it with bulgur wheat, which you see here, which has a lot of nutrients and a lot of fiber. So here's the final product. If you enjoyed this recipe, please go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. See you guys next time.